Hello everyone! I'm so excited for today's live. This is a new episode of Thursday Thyroid Talks. Whoop whoop. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. I'm sorry for the delay. I have been so busy building my clients' gut protocols, hair protocols. There is the man. And yes, so today is going to be awesome with Dr. Jack. Let's see. All you have to do is push the button and send me a request to join. Let's see. I'm trying to find the button. Hi, guys. Oh, here it goes. Okay. Accept that. All right. Let's talk about holistic healing, shall we?
Hey,
There he is.
what's up?
Hi. How you doing?
Excited. Super excited. I put these headphones on, so I'm getting like a little echo in my office. So
No worries. I mean, do what you got to do to like get comfortable and be able to hear me good. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. You can let us know in the comments below where you're joining us at on this beautiful Friday. Yes, it's Friday. Do you have the weekends off?
I do.
Good. I'm sure you need it.
Yes. No, I need like some Valium or something crazy like that to deal with my children. They're teens.
Right?
They're teens.
Nice. All right, everyone.
So.
Well, let me do my official Dr. Jack intro. Okay, so Dr. Jack is known as the guy that leads by example. Love that. Always challenges conventional wisdom and loves pushing the boundaries in health and wellness. Dr. Jack is a doctor of alternative medicine. He has his master's in clinical nutrition. I love this. A drug-free bodybuilder. I like props for claiming that. And, oh, sorry, I lost my place. Has a full-time medical practice. He's also the author of It's Fat Loss, Not Weight Loss. And he's been recognized in many national magazines, popular podcasts, and on some of the biggest fitness websites. Damn, you've accomplished a lot. Good for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I've been around the block.
All right. Well, I mean, that was a lot. So let's dive into you. I actually, just so everyone knows, I've actually never met Dr. Jack before. This is our first time meeting.
Hello.
So we've been trying to hook up for a few months and we finally were able to. So yeah, I've been looking at your account and everything you do and I absolutely love it. I think we have a lot in common in how we help our people. So why don't you take me back to the beginning? I'm always curious, like, where does someone begin? Like, what made you want to become a doctor? But more specifically, what made you want to become a holistic alternative doctor?
Hey, what a great question. So my journey started back in 1993. I was a sophomore in high school, kind of skinny fat, wanted to impress the ladies. So I really started working out hard and tried to understand nutrition, but it was just a wild party animal kid. So then I got out of high school, flash forward, was going to school, working out, working. My path is all over the place. I was doing another job as a paramedic, got really burnt out and sick. And then my health just kind of started plummeting. So I had a whole bunch of little medical issues. Like everybody kind of goes through these things in their life. My thyroid tanked completely, a little depression, low libido, low testosterone. Like I didn't know what was happening. My life there's no reason for that. And then, this is what always happens, right? They go to the regular route and then, they want to put you on 15 medications and, you pick and choose. I went to a bunch of functional medicine docs, drove out of state and then I just didn't get help. So I had to, your back's against the wall and then you just got to kind of figure it out yourself. But then when I left that job, I got my master's in clinical nutrition and I went back and got my PhD studies and kind of coupled it with the doctorate in alternative medicine as well. And then I just been building the practice, and it's guided by faith. It's guided by God. Like God has just pushed me where He wants me to go, and that's where I follow. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like it's the typical story, not typical as in like typical meaning like so many of us start coming down with health problems, and then we turn to the system, you know, that's, we're told is supposed to help us, and we get nothing. And next thing you know, you're driving to different states trying to find a doctor to help you, and you get this whole runaround, and it's just wrong. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of what happened to me too, and what put me on my path. So, and I also love the divinely guided part there, because I do feel like the majority of people that become true healers are put into that position through God. So
Yeah.
I love that. So let's see. So where are you located right now?
I'm in New Hartford, New York. I'm in the middle of New York State.
Okay.
Middle of New York State.
Okay. So you have the whole weight loss guru in your bio, and I've heard you talking about it, and I see that you're getting a lot of props and kudos for that. And it is like a #1 pain point that the majority of women are struggling and battling with. So why don't we start there and tell me like what it is that you're seeing with the weight battles, and what you usually or typically like to do to help your clients or your patients.
Yeah, what a great question. I mean, so when I started doing it was back in 1998. It was a pretty easy formula. Work out a little bit more, change their training a little bit. You know, typically they were, they're eating wrong here and there, or they were just putting in different nutrients that weren't right for their body. So as the years progressed, I got my master's in clinical nutrition. I've written my first part of my book. I started a corporate wellness business. It's teaching this stuff every day, and people just were not getting the results. You work with 15 people, and like 3 people would knock it out of the park, and you're you're just upset with yourself. Like, why? I don't understand. What am I missing? Like, I'm thorough. I read everything. I go to the conferences, So then it's been like, you get sick of it because you just want to help everyone. And then it's like, I just want to quit. And the guy's like, you can't quit. Like, and I'm just going to quit. No, you can't. Like, it's just kind of been this back and forth with that thing. And I've just accepted it. I mean, I love it. I love helping people. But it's just so deep when we're looking at weight loss resistance, whether we're talking to your thyroid community or we're talking to the general population, it's all the same thing. It could be anything from a trapped emotion. It could be anything from a specific toxin. Toxins, trapped emotions, pathogens. Toxins open up the door to pathogens. Emotions open up the door to toxins. It's like this triangle of nonsense that causes people to go into weight loss resistance. So what I do in the office, I'm going to look for a lot of things in people's bodies that blood work doesn't test for. And that could be the physical sexual abuse they had many years ago, or it's an underlying mold issue that they had no idea they had, or I just tested a gentleman from Russia, and his radiation levels from a radioactive metal were like super high. Like, he was losing his hair, real bad weight loss resistance. Like, he'd been to every doctor in the country. Like, you're not gonna find that. So that's where, when it's the testing. You never guess, you're always testing. That's these toxins, these traumas in the body, and toxins and pathogens that when you unpack. And my programs are pretty, not a lot of people have done my thyroid upgrade program, which is like my weight loss program. I wouldn't say not a lot of people, but most of the people that have actually done it are practitioners. So I'm working with, 90% practitioners, which is completely fine, but it's not out to the general population as well. But like, I have lists of questions that I'm asking and figuring out what's happening in their body that nobody's probably ever asked them before. And the stuff that pops up is just, you could ask yes, no questions if you understand how to tap into the other than conscious mind. There's so many different things that I'm rapid firing. Oh, this is what we need to do. Here's what we could change. Are they ready to change that yet? It's just, it's pretty interesting. And it just takes time. It takes time with people, and usually you can crack that. But I've been very, very, very fortunate, because I was a professional drug-free bodybuilder many years ago. When I had my first son, I knew that was over for me. But whether it's exercise, nutrition, sleep problems, whether it's toxins, whether it's emotional, whether it's a food, whether it's, they were eating too long windows, or, whatever it is, I just have to kind of keep tapping into and change it and change it and change it until we get exactly what they need. So we could actually, exponentially increase their metabolism, because people, want it right now, today, not yesterday.
Yeah.
or yesterday, you know. So that what I'm trying to get it as rapid as possible for people, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah. And I want to go back to the beginning
Yeah.
when you said that like only 3 out of 10 people were getting it, and you were just like almost beating yourself up. Like, why can't everyone have the same success? Like, a lot of people don't realize that for us, doctors, coaches, that pour our every waking moment into serving and helping other people. If they're not getting the progress that we want them to have, or we need, we could see the potential, it really does eat us up,
Yeah.
and we're constantly going back to the drawing board of like, what am I missing? What else? What's the other root cause? And we literally like think about this stuff before we go to bed. We wake up thinking about it. We take our showers thinking about it. Like, it's a constant concern on our heads. And like, that's what I love about true holistic healers such as yourself. Is like, we literally live and breathe these things, and we want people to get the true results that and be better and feel better and have a good quality of life. So I love that you're so emotionally and like full invested in everything you do, and like I'm so passionate about it. But what you were saying is like that full body spectrum and digging into the root causes. And similar to you, I've developed what I call the 10 root causes. And I always explain to my clients, like, imagine like you're here and you have this like spider web of all these things that could be like affecting the broad spectrum of like why you can't lose weight. And so I love that you dig in on like every aspect. And I'm so grateful you said trap trauma, because this has been like, I feel like that's been something that not a lot of people are addressing, like the energetic and the spiritual side. Because there is, like you said, have you been sexually abused? Were you with a narcissistic partner that you have a lot of PTSD and trap trauma that you need to get over? Did you lose a parent or someone and you're still holding on to that grief? Like, that's a huge factor.
Yeah. And, some people could come in, right? So for example, I had a couple, a rapid weight gain, constant cough, went to, all these doctors. Like the wife was like all into me, like what I'm doing. And, the husband's like, this is crazy. And I said, just give me a month. And they had mold through the roof. Like they had even never been tested for it. So I was doing muscle testing. And then I also did something else called VCS testing. It's an eye exam that could also, quote unquote, help you diagnose mold. So I did that for him, and it was just for show. And then like within a month, he started feeling better. Then 2 months, he started feeling better. Then we found the mold, and then like it just kept progressing and progressing. And they ended up being, then were with me a good year and a half, 2 years. But it could just be one thing, or it could be 15 things. And then the deeper you go in these things, it's always something else is going to pop up. It's just like, what do I need now? Because so if you're emotionally just beat down, sometimes you just need that little lift up there, where like I lost a few pounds and my energy's better, my brain fog's better, and then you're like, all right, I could work on this now. And it just, because you just get better and better every month, instead of people like, I need to be healed in a day, and it's like, you'll get better every month, I promise.
Yeah, healing is
follow the protocol.
It's an onion. You got to peel back each layer. You do. So you keep talking about mold. I really want to actually have you speak more to mold. This is, I know it's a factor that is affecting a lot of people. So how often are you seeing mold exposure, or like past or current mold exposure, as like one of the main root causes, and what kind of testing are you doing for that?
Yeah, so there's different blood work. I'm using physics. So I'll pull different vials. So physics are just energy. This is mold. This is from Cellcore's test kits. I teach for them as well. So a mold vial, this is the energetic signature for different types of the spores that come out of mold. And when you test it against the autonomic nervous system, the other than conscious mind, it'll tell you what's in the body and how much. You could actually grade it. It's called resonance testing. I do that. 35% of my patients are virtual. The rest are in office. You could do it anywhere at any time, as long as you get out of your own head and you really understand how to do it. It takes a long time to learn. I do that, and I do some VCS testing mainly for mold. I don't do a lot of the VCS testing as an eye exam. that they developed over many years. It was actually for the government adopted it through a mold specialist, and they've been using that for years. It works pretty good. You could also do blood work. There's different types of blood work, but I'm a muscle tester, so I really love that. And if people need labs, I could send them labs and stuff like that, but it's just not my thing. I don't get as much. But so the problem with mold is, let's say you got a parasite infection, or you got Lyme. It's gonna suppress. So you have this kind of teeter-totter like immune system, and it's supposed to be straight. And a lot of times what happens is you get mold, and there's a Th1, Th2, and it'll suppress one of them. It'll go down, and the other one will suppress the other one. With mold, it drops both of your immune systems. So it's not just going after Th1, it's going after Th2. So now your whole immune system is lowered, opens up the door to other pathogens. But one of the biggest problems with it is your cell's energy source, called the mitochondria. They do other things in your body, but they're like mainly your energy source. They just get suppressed so low, so low. And when you don't have energy, like you don't want to cook good, you don't want to clean your house, you don't want to exercise, you don't want to enjoy life. So it's a huge problem because it's an energy issue. And when it drops so low, other pathogens and toxins start taking over the body. Now you get into what we call the cell danger response. And when you're in this cell danger response, it's this ancient mechanism, like where instead of the mitochondria making energy in the cells, they're outside the cells telling the neighbor, like, hey, I need help. And next thing you know, it's this cascade of people shifting jobs from burning fat. So basically your mitochondria will take up substrates, you'll burn it off, you'll respirate. When you're respirating, you're actually respirating your fat. Like that's how you're losing weight, but it's stopping that from occurring. So I get these people in weight loss resistance, and I'm checking this vial we call MGATP, magnesium adenosine triphosphate, and I'll check it on them, and the highest number could be 1,000 and the lowest number could be 0. Some of these people are coming in with like bad mold exposure of 40, and I'm like, can you think? They're like, no. Like I lose my keys 30 times a day, and my wife had to drive me here, or my husband, like it's incredible. I mean, it's scary. As far as like percentage of people that like their number one issue is mold in my office, I don't have like a hard number on that, but I would say like 10%. It's usually a plethora of things, and that mold isn't always the highest, but there's an area where there's flooding. Somebody comes in from that flooding area, like I know they have mold, so it really depends on where you live at the time of year, but mold is everywhere.
It really is. I mean, even in San Diego, like my friends that live by the beach, like they would have mold problems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So if someone wanted to do the testing with you, if they know they've been exposed to mold, they've had to move, they've gone through all these things, they had it like confirmed that they had mold in their house, or they were exposed in their office or something, they could reach out to you virtually and do that testing you said?
Yeah, I test them. So you got to know, I got to understand exactly what I'm dealing with. I usually just don't say, hey, like take all these supplements, because a lot of the supplements that I want to use for mold, you might not be able to use those until we build up the energy in your cells, or your drainage pathway. Drainage is like how you get stuff out of your body, pathways opened up. Like there's all these different aspects of getting things out in the correct order. Like it's just like people do. I'm going to do this parasite cleanse, and I take 4 different parasite supplements, and like within a week they're like, oh my God, why did I do that? Like, because you haven't pooped in a week. Like I don't know why you would do that, right? Yeah. So I see that kind of stuff. So I really love to really test, and testing it's super affordable. People come in and out. They leave knowing their results within an hour, which is cool with a protocol.
Mm-hmm. That is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you focus on opening up, like, how's your liver? How many bowel movements are you having? Like
lymphatic
just the overall
system,
detox pathways.
Yeah. Lymphatic system, especially kidneys, liver.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if their organs aren't functioning properly, their gut isn't properly functioning, then how are you going to move these toxins and these pathogens out of their system, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because then there's this little backup mechanism that's going to go from your large intestine to your liver and to your bloodstream, and that's not what we want. And you see that a lot of people that people have like I've seen a real bad case. This person had real high radiation in their body. They had no idea they had it, and they were pulling metals out as fast as they can. Their drainage pathways ended up getting blocked because they were using too weak of a binder or not enough drainage. And then next thing you know, their radiation was going even higher, because you got to remember, if you have lead in your body, it's absorbing radiation, right? So like this person completely like could have caused themselves brain damage. So you got to be careful when you're dealing with toxicity. You got to understand the whole scope of it, because you could really hurt people.
Yeah.
You got to you got to be careful.
Yeah, that's why I'm not keen on these like hardcore detoxes.
Mm-hmm.
People, they're like, oh, I want to detox. One second, my cord just totally. They're like, oh, I want to detox.
Yeah. So.
And then, like you said, they just move all of this stuff out of their system like so fast. They get really, really sick. Mm-hmm. And oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I just went to plug my cord back in, and now it's on filters.
You're good. Now you're pink. You were pink.
So
it's all good.
Sorry, guys. All right. So yeah, the full body approach of like, let's do some testing, see what's going on, and then let's like back it up and see where we need to start in order to like reach the goal of this is one of your problems. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get to that. Like I said, like the layers, like we're going to help you in layers.
So my last patient just left right before we did this interview, and real bad, bigger parasite. They're called cestodes, egg laying, nasty black organs. You could lose your gallbladder from them. Pancreatic issues I see with them all the time. Kidney issues. I had a lady lose 20 pounds in a month. It was clogged cestodes in her kidneys. Now I can't diagnose that because I'm using physics, energy, but we all know every one of our cells are made up of atoms, and atoms are energy, 99.999%. So how can energy lie? It really can't. But we could label however we want. I don't need to diagnose people. I just want to, look at what's causing the issues. So this last patient, for example, had cestodes, and that's what made me think about it. And she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready to go after him with like something really hardcore to clear the eggs and clear the parasites the first month, because her drainage pathways were open and her energy was way too low. She had so many organs that were completely off. I'm checking all the organs and all this stuff. So it was a problem. But then month 2, she was completely ready to go now. Like she's on her second month. She feels way better. Her energy's way up. Like, here's what we were dealing with. Here's what we're going to deal with now. And every month you'll feel better. So.
Right. Yeah. Because when you come in like at a super depleted, really like you said, low energy, just depleted overall state. Yeah. You have to start with like a really gentle rebuild of like, hey, let's start working on just your diet first. And like, let's clean up your environment. Like you said, let's clean up your radiation exposure and maybe the stressful people in your life, and like start doing, the
basics.
Yeah. The basics. Exactly.
And when I became a clinical nutritionist, I'm like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to help everyone. And I was completely wrong. Like I could help people, but I wasn't. It was still like, what am I missing? What am I missing? And I was missing the emotional toxin, the emotional stuff. I was missing the toxicities. I was missing these things. And this work is never ending. Like people make fun of me. They're like, I pray twice a day, and I meditate, and I have these big Juve panels, and I eat good, and I take care of myself, and like, why are you doing that? It's because you have to heal yourself before you could heal others. The higher you're vibrating, the better you're going to be able to help people. And at the end of the day, if my mission's to be a good dad and help my patients, like I think that's what I got to do, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of it is just like clearing ourselves so we could clear and help others.
Yeah, and also when you're pouring so much of yourself out, we have to extra care for ourselves. Otherwise, we can become very sick and depleted extremely fast, because we have to pour like you said, we're pouring our energy, our love, our passion, our time, our thoughts. We're rolling, that patient's life around in our head, and like, how can we help them? And like, this is energy we're just pouring. And it can take us down really, really fast if we're not careful. So yeah, of course you have to juice, and you have to listen, like do all the things in your life that make you happy, which is one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because everything I do is virtual, but you're like in person. Like, I know you said you do virtual too, but like your energy, because you're in person, is even more intense, pouring out to the people you care for. So what do you do to fill your cup? Like, what's your self-care? What are your hobbies?
I work out every day of my life. That's how I get rid of stress. I love being out, anything outdoor. I love
Hmm.
hiking, walking, being on the beach, laying by a pool, anything to be outside is just, it fills my cup. I mean, maybe someday if I'm retired, I'll be able to golf. You know, I've done it a few times in my life. I mean, that was super fun. You know, I played at soccer for almost 2 hours with I coach my oldest son and my youngest son. We all played a pickup game. Super fun. I'm not like a great soccer player by any means, but you know, like things like that, I just love. But I like to lift weights. I've been weightlifting since I was 13,
Nice.
and I really enjoy it. I enjoy the way you feel, and you know, it's fat loss, not weight loss. I mean, I wrote that book because muscle is the #1 driver of your metabolism. And, you know, I always tell when most of my patients are female, and it's like, you got to lift weights. You got to figure it out. You got to find what you like to do, when you can do it. You don't have to do it every day. Like, I have this whole like triangle, like what you need of what, and, you know, I assess them and ask specific question. And it's such a big aspect of health is weightlifting as well, with your
Let's talk
cardio,
more
but
about
exercise
that.
too. Yeah.
That actually has become more trendy. I've noticed a lot more women posting that, you know, they're doing the really like the barbells, and
Hmm.
they're lifting more. And, you know, when I'm pulling my clients' hair tissue mineral analysis and I'm looking at their calcium displacement, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're like prone for osteoporosis and all these problems with your bones. And, you know, I think the same thing, like once we can get their energy up, it's like we really got to hit the weights and start building back, and then maintaining. So just speak more to that, of like women weightlifting and the importance of that.
Yeah, it's going to increase bone density because if you're not pushing on the muscle, you're not going to increase bone density. So there's osteoblast build, osteoclast, little cells in your body. They're either building or taking away bone density. So when you're exercising, you're stimulating the bones to grow. But you know, all you know, anti-aging is one of the greatest tests for anti-aging is just how strong your forearms are. Believe it or not, your grip
Oh,
strength.
shit.
So, you know, but muscle is the #1 driver in metabolism. If you get sick, you need muscle. If you want to move, you want to have a better quality of life. You don't have to be like a big bodybuilder. I mean, years ago, I was a drug-free professional bodybuilder, but I was never big.
Mm.
I mean, I was never big. You know, I was just in shape. I was, you know, sickly looking when I competed. But you know, the core of your, if you pull emotional toxins out, you pull toxins out of your body, you pull pathogens out of your body, you get set up on the right exercise program, you start honing in on your sleep, your mental health, you're hooked up, like you're spiritually connected to whoever you believe in. You know, that's like, you need a lot of these things, and you need a coach. Like you're a coach. People need coaches. You know, the most successful people in the world have coaches. We all need coaches.
I have
So
a coach. I will forever have a coach in my life.
yeah, you have to.
You do. You do.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, not only just for like guidance with nutrition or supplements or those basic things, but I really love how like people like yourself or me, what I do, it's like we need someone to see that outside perspective sometimes too, and like mirror things going on back to us,
Hmm.
you know, that we might not see, and give us that reframe that could help us have like a more positive perspective or see something we're missing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just a beautiful thing.
And as far as exercising, weightlifting, I mean, there's a few things you got to kind of ask yourself. First, what do you like to do? And a lot of people are like, I hate lifting weights. I would say, like, you know, get a trainer, go to like a class where they're using weights, go work out with your girlfriend. You know, maybe you could have a trainer train you and your girlfriend. You don't have to do it every day. If you just started, and twice a week would be completely fine. You know, and then when can you do it? And then the other thing is like, what are you capable of doing? Like I tore my labrum, so I had a shoulder reconstruction. There's stuff I cannot do still. Like my arm doesn't go back the right way. Like I can't squat correctly anymore. Like, so there's a lot of like stuff I can't do, and that's okay. Who cares? Life goes on. There's other things you can do. So what are you capable of? When can you do it? What do you like to do? Those are like kind of the big main pieces of them. Then you could start structuring a workout around that. You know, and you still need to walk. You know, they call it non-exercise active thermogenesis, walking, moving, gardening, that type of thing. You could do a lot of that. Get a standing desk, get a treadmill desk, walk around, take your breaks, and your cardio. You need your cardio. And cardio is the same thing. You got to ask yourself, what do you like to do? I hate cardio; it drives me crazy. You know, I'll ride my bike. I'll play sports with my friends or my kids. Really, you know, if I do cardio, I'm watching Netflix.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can get through it. You know,
On the treadmill.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot to it, but if it's always about what you like to do. Because if something you like hate to do, it's just like foods. Like it's the same thing when we're looking at the foods we eat. If there's like, if people will come to me, Jack, give me the hardest diet. I need to lose weight. I'm like, okay, I'll send you this diet. And I send them the diet. And the next day I'm getting a text message like, hey, can I eat this instead? Yeah, you can. Can I eat this instead? Yeah. Can I put salt and pepper on it? Yeah, you should. You know, actually taste is a metabolic enhancer. So it's kind of like finding health foods that work for your lifestyle. Like how much time does it take to prep? Do you like the way it tastes? Like, and just getting into these simple systems, because the key to all this stuff is like, you get rid of toxins, pathogens, emotional traumas, and then you just get in a simple, what can you do every single day? That's what counts, not what you do every once in a while type of mindset, where like things just flow easily. Like I wake up, I go downstairs, I go on my red light, it has a vibrational platform, a grounding mat, I say my prayers, like I get all these things like stacked, boom, 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 then I'm done, right? My lunch break is when I exercise. Like you just get these little patterns, then it just becomes autopilot. It's easy.
Yeah. Or my lunch break is when I eat my amazing, delicious salad with so many fruits and vegetables and get my vitamin D and journal or listen to my favorite music. Yeah, that was, you know what? I love that you said that, because when I started pulling myself out of my 10 years of sickness, the way I did it is I built a daily routine, and I bought like this huge whiteboard, and I put a whiteboard up in my living room, and I'm excessive. I put a chalkboard up in my bedroom, and as soon as I opened my eyes, I saw my daily routine. Like you said, like, okay, I'm gonna start with my affirmations, I'm gonna do my meditation. It was like a check, like I checked it off. And even though there was 8 things on my list, it was like 8 things that took me 5 to 10 minutes, you know, so it wasn't like really, really hard. And like you said, the compounding effect, and then it turns into habits, like you said, and then it turns into patterns. And then before you know it, you have like such a healthier lifestyle all the way around. And you're like, wait a second, I'm doing pretty good. I feel pretty good. And like, also, like you said, I tell my clients, like, look at these daily routines and these habits you're building as like, this is fun. Like, I want to play with it. Like, it doesn't have to be rigid and like, I'm going to do this is like, okay, if you're really not feeling working out in the morning, then maybe you need to work out on your lunch break or at night. You know, what feels good, what flows for you. And it doesn't, it can be fluid, and it doesn't have to stay permanent. I've changed my daily routine like 20 times, you know, and it's just what feels good for you that moment. Like, we all change. We all have seasons, right? We change with the seasons, and we want to, like, literally with the light, we have to adjust our daily routine to like maybe when the sun is up or the sun is going down, and all kinds of, you know, different little aspects. So it's always like, I always just am like, keep it playful and fluid. Like, no, whatever feels good, just do it.
Show up. That's the biggest thing. What I think, what was Woody Allen, 90% of success is just showing up, you know. And that's kind of the cool things. Like, there's times where I'm like, I don't feel like meditating. Like, you know, a long meditation, I'm going to do a short meditation, or I have brain tap. Like, I'm going to put my brain tap on. I feel like just laying on my couch and, you know, zoning out to, you know, brain tap, you know, it's just whatever, but just do something and just stay in that pattern. Like, I'm going to do something from this time. Like, if I had more time in the morning, I would read, I would like do a whole bunch of, you know, the longer gaps I have in the morning, I just keep adding stuff. Because it sets my day off, right? That's the most productive. Your first hour is the most important hour of your day, and it's just research. So like these morning rituals, and you could build them, like you said, you could change them, you could do whatever you want with them.
Yeah. Now that like the sun is out, my favorite thing to do is like juice my celery, and then I go out and I just sit in the sun, and it's just like I'm a solar panel. And I like start like just speaking gratitude, like, thank you so much, you know, and like these little things that just, they help with weight loss. They help with like good glandular health and organ health. But speaking of glandular health, let's go into the thyroid. So
Yeah.
you said that you had issues with your thyroid when you were younger.
Yeah, age 28, my thyroid crashed pretty bad. They put me on a medication. I if I knew what I knew now, I would never have went on it. They wanted to put me on antidepressants. They wanted to put me on a whole bunch of stuff, and I just refused everything. But I was just like, I'm not messing with my thyroid. I was 28. I didn't have a clue as to what, like, the stuff that I know now. But that's life, right? I go to every medical conference I can go to possibly and listen to 30 webinars a year, and they add up. After doing it so long,
Yeah.
it's nonstop. But yeah, they put me on a thyroid when I was 28. I'm 46, so I just take an NP. It's a natural desiccant now, and I don't even want to be on it, but super low dose. It hasn't moved up in many years. I'm almost a little bit scared to get off it, but yeah, my thyroid tank, my numbers are perfect now. I never have a problem. Sometimes I wake up, I am a little bit cold, especially in the winter, but then my metabolism kicks in by moving and lighting up my body with some red photobiomodulation, red light therapy, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I can feel a little bit of shame and embarrassment around that, and I just want you to know that, like, it's okay,
Yeah.
because the same thing happened to me. I was diagnosed with the low thyroid at 28, and I started on Armor, and I was, like I said, I was sick for 10 years, and they just kept increasing my dose. And with everything I learned, 12 years later of being on this thyroid med, our bodies do become dependent on it.
Yep.
And, when you've been on it that long, weaning off of it is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And I got to this point personally, like literally, and I mean like months, like maybe 6 months before COVID hit, where I was like, hey, I'm going to finally tackle this. And I went to my PA and I was like, okay, I want to start slowly weaning off, like 3 to 5 milligrams at a time. And I know I'm fully aware this is going to take me a year, maybe 2 years, because I was on like 100, I'm still on 110.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. So I started it and I was having withdrawals. I was not feeling good. It was a thing. And then COVID hit and my office closed. The whole thing just went away. And so I just had to go back on my regular dose. And then when COVID came back up, my practitioner, who I'm really picky with, I don't like seeing practitioners, no offense, he retired. And then I ended up breaking up with my boyfriend and moving states. And so it just, everything just got in the way of me actually getting off my meds. And I'm not, I had to kind of battle this too. It's like, as a thyroid coach, like, am I going to admit that I'm on meds? Well, yeah, because they made me fucking dependent upon them.
Sure.
And here I am. And, so I get it. It's okay. And same with you. Like, my levels are all perfect. I test myself constantly. I work on myself, but it is what it is.
I am a little bit more of the mindset. Like, if you're missing a hormone and you could do like 1,000 things correctly. Like, your sleep is on, you have no stress, you're exercising, you're not overtraining, you're not undertraining, you're eating perfectly. And like, your levels are still not perfect. I think as you get, like, you're in your 40s, 50s, like, I don't know, like, it really depends on an individual. It's not the worst thing to do is be on a hormone. I think people get into a lot of the problems is the drugs that are blocking all these pathways in your body. That's where you really get in trouble.
Definitely.
So, I mean, that's just kind of my thought. That everybody's completely different. Everybody's 100% different when we talk about that. But that's just kind of one of the patterns that I see. But then other people they're not looking at, they're not correcting those issues. They're not sleeping right. They're not eating right. They're not taking care of their stress. They're not exercising. I mean, it's incredible to me. So incredible to me. Like, people still don't get the benefits of exercise. And then, but they want, let me do 50 medications and supplements. You're not going to get your way out of it. You got to get that lifestyle down. Yeah. And then if you need some kind of hormone, then take a hormone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you guys, exercise is key. And speaking of that, one of my beautiful clients just jumped on, and she just got back on an exercise regimen and feels like a whole new woman.
Love it.
It's
Love it.
that important.
Yeah. What a game changer.
It really is. Yeah. So do you Do you see a lot of women with thyroid issues? Is that like a big thing you're coming across?
Yes, all the time. It's the majority of my patients.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So, the thyroid, I mean, I'm speaking to the choir, but the thyroid touches every organ of the body, and it's so close to your mouth as well. People get dental work. They come in, I'm like, oh no, like all these, it just touches every organ. So of course it's going to be stressed. But a lot of times I'm correcting other places and areas in the body, and it's like they don't need the thyroid support, which is weird. So a lot of times I do a lot of different types of muscle testing, and one of the types of muscle testing where you're prioritizing the organs, like you check all these organs up, and the small intestine's weak, and the kidney is just an example. Kidneys, ovaries, all these organs are coming up as weak, and you prioritize it, right? So like, oh, my thyroid is this priority, and then I'm looking through and I'm looking in like these vials, like these are the Cellcore test kits. Like I'm looking at like all these like vials, and I'm testing them rapidly on the thyroid, and not enough's coming up, and then I'll check into the next organ, and then the next organ's like, oh, it's the liver, and I correct the liver, and all of a sudden like, oh, their thyroid's perfect. It's such an odd thing because, we get super focused on that, like, hey, it's my thyroid, but it's actually your liver, and it's something you can't test for, and it's a negative emotion and some mercury and babesia, like, and some Borrelia, which you had no idea you had, right? It's just you just never know, or it's that nematode that everybody has in the summer,
Yep.
those little parasites.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really incredible.
I feel so validated hearing someone else say that.
Yeah.
I am screaming this from the rooftop constantly.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to fix your gut. You need to fix your diet. You need to unclog your pathways. You need to make your liver function. And a lot of people come to me with low kidneys and just Epstein-Barr infections, strep infections, gut infections. It's just nuts.
And we should hit a little bit on bacteria and viruses, because it's very rare that I'm treating a bacteria and virus in my practice. Right? A lot of these things are what we call pleomorphism. There's a lot of research on this, but it's called pleomorphism. And a lot of times we have bacteria in our body, and we have toxins that build up too high. The bacteria are increasing in the body to clean up the toxic mess. When you lower the toxins, those bacteria disappear. I see it all the time. I do it every day. I do see viruses in my practice, but it's always a toxicity issue. I mean, it's almost always a toxicity issue. So it's kind of a new concept. Dr. Jay Davison from Cellcore, he really hits on that a lot. There's a lot of different people that are talking about it, but boy, I'll tell you, years ago when I first started, and I was doing like nutrition response testing, and I'm using all this stuff for bacteria, and they come back next month, the same thing. And I'm like, what is happening? Why isn't this clearing up? That wasn't the problem. It was the toxins. It was the underlying toxins and pathogens that I was not clearing quick enough. And I never, ever, almost ever prioritize a bacteria. Now, something like, I don't know, I'll just pull a vial, like Campylobacter. If I found like Campylobacter that's super high, thousands the highest, and it's like 500-600 in their brain, like I'm going to clear it, right? They could cause MS and all these other things. But that's usually never the case. The case is always those toxins and that could be emotional too, by the way. These emotions get stuck in our extracellular matrix that holds our body together, and the fascia that holds all the skin and tissue. It's not just our organs. So when you're testing these things, you got to have like the right questions to ask, because your body, you could communicate with anybody's body, but it's only a yes no, only yes no. That's it. It's not going to say, oh, you're wrong. You're right. It's not going to say you're wrong or right. You can't. But you can ask the body any question if you understand how to do it. But it's only a yes no, and the question has to be perfect. Because if it's not, you're going to get the wrong answer.
That's so cool. That is so cool. I love muscle testing. That's so freaking cool. So let's see. Desiree asked, what triggers or symptoms would trigger someone to get care or testing like this? I feel like the universe just put Sarah in my life, and I got lucky, but I want others to know. So triggers or symptoms that would get someone to do testing like you do.
I would say 90% of my people are, the big majority are just referrals. Somebody gets like sick, they get better, they refer me. That's where most of it comes from. The other is like, I went everywhere in the world. You know, I Googled your name popped up. I saw you on a webinar. I was at this conference, I met you, or I saw you speaking at a conference. That's kind of the big thing. But it's a lot of things. Like, this is like God's medicine. So a lot of people that I see are like, they believe in God, they pray, they do this things. Like, I prayed for you and you came up, and I'm like, wow, that's powerful to me. Like, that's just absolutely incredible. Because when you hear it once, you're like, oh, it could be a coincidence. You know, if I treated 10 or 11, 12 people yesterday, and like, I'm hearing this every day, it can't be coincidence. It just can't be. It literally can't be. Like I prayed for you, and like somebody told me about you that like an hour later, it's like, oh, this is incredible. Like, and I mean, when I tell you I've heard this, I hear it almost every day in practice.
Wow,
you know,
that's beautiful. Yeah, I do not believe in coincidences. No such thing. Yeah, that is beautiful. And you know, that all goes back to your, like, how you had to go through your health battles in order to learn what you learned, in order to become the version of you that you are now, so that you could turn around and help everyone else.
Yeah.
Aww, I love that.
Yeah. And just to maybe I didn't clarify that, who needs to be tested? I think everybody should be tested. There's no commitments. Just get tested, see what you need, what you don't need, what's happening in your body. There's things that Sarah's going to pick up that I'm not going to pick up. And there's, you know, I work with multiple practitioners. I work with practitioners, but I work with people that are seeing other practitioners. They're like, hey, are you not okay with that? I'm like, yeah, I'm completely okay with it. Just let me know what they're doing, you know, and I'll check in and see kind of what's happening, you know, because if they come in like bags of supplements and I'm like, you don't need this right now, but here's what you need, and this is why. At least I know that information. Because if people, I know people that are on 50 supplements, and, you know, 49 of them they don't need, but they read about it on Amazon, or they read about it on the blog or the podcast or the whatever. They just didn't need it at this time.
Yeah.
Because when you start driving down toxins, you start realizing, wow, I don't have those nutritional deficiencies anymore. Oh, I don't need this supplement anymore. I don't, you know, it's always driving down pathogens. How we teach it at CellCore when I'm teaching muscle testing, you know, there's like these blocks of toxicity, and like, there's no reason why people need, you know, 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day, but we have this toxin that's making us pile on so much vitamin D to get over that blockage, to cause that reaction in the body. We shouldn't be taking all these vitamins in excess. There's something wrong with that. So when we clear these toxins, and again, that could even be emotionally related, but you know, these toxins and pathogens in the body, you start lowering them, and a lot of times we just don't need a lot of these supplements.
Yeah. Thank you. All my clients are giving me shout outs, and your clients are giving you shout outs. This is so cute. Are you reading the comments?
I'm just seeing like one scroll. I don't see a lot of, I'm on my phone, so I'm not seeing a lot of cool comments.
Nicole,
but yay.
says, I feel the same way. Sarah has been a godsend. Jack is a lifesaver. Highly recommend. Desiree told you that's amazing. Someone, let's see. Amber says, I'm a patient of Dr. Jack. Started working together 3 months ago, and I came to him by chance through a CellCore post. I had enough with how I was feeling and was ready to try something unconventional. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great community when you get tied in. It's the people that appreciate it, and then they get that help that they deserve. Yeah,
exactly. Desiree says, damn, the VA pushes vitamin D just like they push Motrin. Yeah, she's a veteran, so she meant the VA. The VA pushes vitamin D just like they push Motrin. Yeah. And ibuprofen. Yeah.
And those are super physiological doses, and then they don't have, you know, you're pushing in vitamin D without vitamin K2 that's going to drive in the calcium in the tissues. And then, you know, you do that long enough, you're going to have problems with your arteries. You're going to have stiff arteries and all this stuff. But
calcium displacement.
Yeah.
We don't want it.
We want it where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. So there was one thing I was going to touch on before I started reading all the comments, and then I got distracted. Oh, I know. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So we keep talking about toxins and pathogens.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sort of, my obsession, besides for the 10 root causes of thyroid illness, is pathogen infections.
Yeah.
I am finding everyone has severe, moderate to severe Epstein-Barr infections, and it goes hand in hand with some strep infections, co-infections. Do you see that often, or do you test for that?
I don't see it a lot. I do see, so whatever mom has, we have. So whatever toxins moms have, you know, it drives our immune system a little bit lower. We get put on, let's just say, like omeprazole, a medication that blocks the stomach acid. Now all of a sudden, like, their immune system's low, everything they eat, next thing you know, they have a parasite infection, right? I mean, that's what I see. Toxins, lower pathogen, like lower our immune system, pathogens invade. Viruses are usually a very dirty environment in the body. And when I start cleaning those things up, I mean, I used to use like Imuplex from Standard Process, Angiographis Complex from MediHerb, like, you know, we used to use a lot of systemic, like VVV, like the virus one, and like these things, and I was trying to drive them down. And what I was finding, I'm like, no, it's not getting what I need. But when I'm driving down, oh, they have, you know, their uranium and, you know, their arsenic is through the roof, and they got some radiation in there. Oh, and by the way, they got candida, and the candida is near the radiations. That's the only thing that could live next to it. And, you know, and then, oh, it's the summer and everybody's spraying their lawn. I got herbicides, right? And they're through the roof. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could just clear these herbicides up, and I could clear like these. And then all of a sudden those things just drop.
Okay. So you're seeing heavy metal toxicity. You're seeing gut imbalances. You're seeing environmental attacks. So do you have people start cleaning up their eating organic and cleaning up their home, like ditching the Tide, changing their lotions? Like, are you doing that aspect of things?
Yeah, I start with food, and then you know, I give like general recommendations, and then I ask them to journal their food. Some people do, some people don't. And then I give suggestions from there, depending on, like, so I used to build out big classes where I would run people through. I did that for, I think I was like my 11th year. I used to always do these challenges, and then I put them to the side for a little bit. And then when I jumpstart those up again, that's where like more of those guides come in. Or if I'm working with them on like my weight loss program, it's called the Thyroid Upgrade Method. There's like a free webinar on my website if you just click on it. But that's where I start like really honing in on those specific things, because I test for, like, you know, what products are causing issues and stuff like that.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love how thorough you are. This is so awesome. Let's see. Mandy says Dr. Kunkel is definitely a godsend. I absolutely am so grateful to his practice and his knowledge. One of my favorite people. God bless you both. Oh, that was so cute.
That was really sweet. Thank you.
That's my biggest struggle. Environmental. Yes. I know. So this has been so edifying. I love talking to you. You are very fun and very, very smart and knowledgeable. And I love that you're helping and serving so many people on incredible ways. And that whole test kit you got right there looks really fun. I want to, can I come and play and just have you
come and play.
Yes, please. I'll geek out with you.
A lot of fun.
Yes, if I ever, I will be to New York at some point in my life. I plan to travel, so I'll let you know when I head over that way.
I don't know if you could type in the comments, if they could put if they just email us support@jackkunkel.com.
Yeah,
we got a really cool ebook, and then we expanded the ebook, and I put in some stuff about weight loss in there. It's called, you know, metabolically positioning fat loss. So, and that my ebook touched on all the toxins and pathogens and all that stuff. It just got updated. So I'd love to just like get that for people.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna ask you, like, where do you want them to go to get hook up with you, get more information?
Yeah, so my website is just jackkunkel.com. So Jack, KUNKEL.com. And then if you could put it, if they email us, they could email me through the website, and I just want to send everybody that book. It's pretty cool. It came out really good. I have to do one more read over. We'll start emailing it out tomorrow. So
cool.
support at jackkunkel.com, and we'll just shoot it over to you.
Okay, cool. And I will put all of that in the show notes.
Oh, thanks.
So
Yeah.
I don't have the support link, so make sure you send me that, and then I'll link all of this out, and everyone
Okay.
can click on it and hook up with you. And I'll
Yeah, I love
also
that.
provide your Instagram. Like I'll put all of your information,
Okay.
so they can hook up with you for sure and get what they need. Desiree
Yeah.
says you two should do a webinar or an ebook together.
Yeah.
Kind
That'd
of
be fun.
sounds that way. We got a lot in common.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great meeting
You
you.
too.
And in the future, we can pop back on and geek out some
Yeah.
more for everyone to listen to and learn from us. So,
Yeah, shoot us some questions of what you want to learn about. We'll get some good stuff for you, good content. This is kind of a broad overview, but if there's, I always tell people there's specific topics you want to hear, that'd be fun.
yeah, absolutely. I know,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So you could DM him, DM me, or, comment
Yeah.
on this live thread that I'll post. Anything that you guys want to know, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for everybody checking in. Hey, Michelle. So yeah, thank you so much. God bless everybody. It's been an absolute honor. I definitely look forward to, if I haven't met you before, I hope I get to meet you soon. So
Absolutely. Thank you guys for
thank
being
you.
here. Thank you so much for your comments. All right, Jack, I'll talk to you
Bye.
later.
Thank you.
Bye.